Hello, my butterflies, and welcome back to our pasture, I guess? I don't know. I'm still trying to figure this out, guys. But welcome back to One Hook, Two Hands. I'm Sarah, the creator behind One Hook, Two Hands. And today we're going to go through my entire works in progress. Now, the reason this is important for me is we're just coming out of August, and August is the month of the year that I was born. And so in August, I like to evaluate kind of what's happened in the past year, what's going forward in the next year, that kind of thing. Basically, what most people do in January, I like to do in August because it's my birth month. And out of that, a lot of what happens is I kind of reset and get ready for the next year. This year's a little bit special because we are moving forward and getting we have a diagnosis now. I'm calling it my year of healing because I recognize we're moving forward in that direction. We're trying to get all the moving parts and pieces together to have a space that I can live in for that healing, etc., etc. Setting up it in a better way, my living space, all of the things. That said, part of it has been this channel and getting together, my works in progress and looking at what I have that I haven't done and what I have done, and trying to just complete them and get things organized. And a big thing has been getting them organized. Since I have kind of connected with the crafting crochet community here on YouTube, I've had a lot of suggestions and a lot of things that have really helped me. One of those being from this Spoony Stitcher, our friend Shannon, who suggested these puzzle bags off of Amazon, and that I absolutely love. They're phenomenal. They have helped me organize so much, not just with this, but with some other things as well. And so I absolutely love them. And they've helped me get my works in progress together, keep everything in the project together, and helps me be able to go, okay, this is what I have, this is what I don't have, and this is what I need to do to move forward. So now that I've said all that, I want to show you my mini, in some aspects, way too many projects that I've got going on. Simply because it's kind of in three different groupings. One, I have some that are for me and family, some that are for some very specific ministries, and then some things that were just me being creative, creating them for the sake of creating them. And so I've kind of got all of this together, and I'm going to walk you through, not in any particular order, but I am going to probably rush through a little bit the ones that we had already talked about in other videos, but just all of my works in progress right now. And so in that vein, we're going to start with this one over here, which is my oldest personal work in progress. And that is my bright granny square rag quilt blanket is what I call it, because I have taken a very intricate pattern, one that many of you probably know, and I'll link down below. It was the SoCal 2015 crochet along pattern. So I think it may be Sophie SoCal. Anyway, one of those names, are all of those names. Again, names are eluding me, guys. It's a part of the thing. But what I liked about it is each row you did with a different design and had the potential to do with a different strand of yarn on each. And I loved that because I basically just leaned into that and put all my braids together. Now, I did have to get some extra yarn for the bright one because I'm not typically a bright yarn girl, but it has been fun to watch this come together. If you watch my other video, you know I have a full one together that's of the darker colors, and it was a great way to use up spare project yarn or yarn that had been gifted to me, or I had received because the person who used to own it died. And it was a great way to honor them and still be able to remember those projects, remember the people. And like I said, just kind of reminded me of like a rag quilt where you scrap together all the memories of different pieces of clothing of people and places over time and make it into this amazing thing. So that's one. Two, I'm not going to give you a real peek, but that's a sneak peek blip, shorter than what you're going to get next week on our Battle of the Stitches. But there's that. Then there is my ETSU blue and gold blanket that I'm making for a family member, and these are the squares. And the how to make these just dropped on Monday, September 1st. So if you want to watch that, there is a video link to how to make this particular kind of crocheted square and then blanket. And in that, this actually comes from a yarn inspirations pattern, which I will, again, when I finally get enough people to be able to link stuff, I'm going to link that pattern in the description box below. Another pattern I'll link, or I have just kind of gotten into making like so many of these. So here's what a completed one looks like. This is a trash bag holder, but kind of a modern twist, very simple, very elegant. But I have been taking to making them in pretty much every form of cotton that I have or don't have. Like this one, I got the pretty blues going on, getting ready for some festivals and things. I'm going to make some out of this brown yarn. I've got some other yarns I'm going to make them in, and they've just kind of become my mindless project, which I love. I'm also going to deal with what's up here. This is my project of our Granny Squares book, and this has kind of been the bag that I've used to mock up some of the patterns in different types of yarn. And if you've been paying attention, my niece I like to call Princess 2 on here because I don't do thing 1, thing 2, but in our family, I'm the first princess, she's the second princess, so Princess 1, Princess 2. And Princess 2 loves gardening and flowers and all of those things. So she's getting a big girl blanket made out of pink flowers in various shades. And I'm kind of working on that right now. If you saw my post on Sunday, you saw my mood blanket for the year of healing, where every day I'll be crocheting a different color representing my emotions that day, and it will culminate in 12 squares that will be 35 rows in the linen stitch. And then I will put those together in a bigger blanket. And that is inspired by 2 of Tony from TL Yarn Crafts year-long temperature blanket and then her mood blanket. And I kind of put them together because I like the design and the color and all of that. And I'll link that down below. But I kind of spilled that yarn the first time I tried to do this video. And because of that, I don't want to move the box too much because I still have to organize it again. This is, if you watched my other video, the koala pill. The reason why you make sure you definitely get your gauge right and your instructions right. Make sure you know whether you're using UK terms or US terms, because this guy is only supposed to be about this big and using a different stitch, and you shouldn't be able to see his stitches as much as you are. But me and my best friend have taken to affectionately calling this one Koala Pill, and we love him. I am going to try to make the actual one of that pattern because it was a kit at some point, but for right now, that's Koala Pill. This is one of my purses that needs to be lined, just lined. This is the butterfly bag by Lion Brand Yarn Patterns, and I can't remember who created it, but it just needs a lining. You don't have to line it according to the pattern. I chose not to originally. I'm going back and doing it. I put on a different strap on it, which led to me over making the straps, so I tied it off and put a little butterfly there. I also created this little strap and put that on there. But I do need to line it for the purposes I'm using it for. So I've got a lining kind of set up over there that I just need to pin together so I can sew together and get it in there. Next up is my amazing, yeah, I love this one. This is my Russian join magic ball of yarn, which is just taking scraps of yarn and joining them with a Russian join to create this invisible join to make them all like they're one big ball of yarn again. And then crocheting just the simple virus blanket pattern. Doo-doo-doo. And it has turned out so cool. And I have just enjoyed this. It makes me feel like, it reminds me of like some of the blankets my grandmother used to make, but just a modern kind of twist on it. And so I absolutely love it. And this one should be coming to you guys next week, on the Monday drop down, on how to make it. Let's see. Also for me, there is 2 sets of socks. This one is a kit that I bought, that I originally thought this is the one that was in UK terms, and Koala Pill was in US terms. Turns out that was flipped, so it put me off working on the socks for a while that are really cool looking. But these will be made during the course of the year. Probably why I'm working with an IV, but that's what it looks like. And I'm interested to see how that one goes. So stay tuned for that at some point. I also have some just plain sock yarning that I'm going to be working on some socks. My goal is before the end of the year to learn how to do socks. It was sweaters and socks. Sweaters I'm so, but socks I definitely need to work on. This is I am making my own version of a Be Well sweater. If you've seen a Be Well sweater, it's one that's used that has 2 zippers either on the side or like over the heart to be a port or IV ready sweater. And I am, as I get closer and closer to treatment, I'm making my own version of it in yarn. We'll see how this one goes, because this will be a little bit more fitted and a little bit more created just to me. So we'll see how this goes. But I really love these colors in yarn, so that's what I'm doing there. Then I'm doing a raglan that I've got this yarn for, and if you've watched some of my other videos, you know more about that. But I'm just going to flash that there. And while we're talking about sweaters, I want to show one of our next granny squares after the Magic 8 Ball is this one. And this is the squares that make up the current sweater I am wearing. I'm making up a few of these to sell. This is the blue one. I'm making a brown and white one. I've got yarn for lots of different variations of it. Really enjoy these because these truly are one size fits most. But I can adjust it to make it truly fits almost all. And I say that because I am never one of these people who will say one size fits all. I've been bigger, I've been smaller, and I get it. So there is that. My other sweater that I am going to be working on, well, there's 2 in here. One is going to be a hexagon, and then this one is going to be a pullover sweater that I'm working on that I want to be able to wear in my office, at the doctor's office I work at. So I have that. This is kind of the first one you may not have seen already, but this is actually a plushy, what I call, okay, there's a pattern on Hobie that's called Kitty. Love the pattern, but when I make it, it ends up looking more like a bear. It just does. It has something to do with the ear placement, so I started calling it Bear with a Tail. Well, then Bear with a Tail kind of got multiple upgrades and multiple different variants. So, and I will show you that at some point when I actually start working on this project and you guys get to see it. But that's a Bear with a Tail premium that I'm working on. Next up, and I am not going to show these beyond just the bags. These are 2 shawls that I'm working on for somebody, and I'm not going to say who. But it's a pattern that's challenging me, that's turning out really cool. And I'm enjoying it, but I'm using beads. I'm doing some fun stuff on this. And it's really getting me back into shawls. And so I've got 2 variations because I couldn't quite decide given the person. And as we go, I will totally keep you updated and let you know. Now, one of the other things I'm making for me is a sampler granny square blanket based off of our granny square book. And this is just some of the squares that I've already worked up. I'll probably end up having 2 or 3, and I may give one away slash I may do an auction on one of them to raise money for a cause near and dear to my heart. We'll see how that goes. Because I'm thinking about doing it. I just don't know if I will do it. But I kind of like that idea. So because it's such a big sweater and it's going to or blanket and it will take so much time, that idea has kind of been rattling around in my head. But we'll see where that one goes. But yeah, that's my idea there. Then down in here is the colors I have for the brown blanket. Now I don't have any of these squares made up yet, or for the brown sweater, the other variant of brown sweater, but I've got these. That one's called Cinnamon, and this one I can't remember if it's Shell or Desert, but you can kind of see there's some blues in it as well and some grays, and I really liked it, and so we'll be doing that. This is all of what I call my jewelry yarn. This is my thin thread yarn that I make like bunnies, and I make these cute little shamrock earrings around holidays and stuff. So this is kind of like my holiday earring yarn that I'm working on some things with. Let's see. There's that. Oh, we've got the next. I do have to finish making one blanket in the next 2 weeks or so for Granny Square blanket for our shed-in project at my church, and that's in this bag. And I'm using some interesting colors, so you'll start seeing that soon on the reels. One of the ministries I work with that I love is called Kairos, and it's a prison ministry. And one of the things they do is they just shower these people affected by prison with love in different ways. And so one of the things I'm doing is creating coasters, and and I've done 60 so far, and well, technically 70 now are completed, although 10 still need to have their ends worked in. But I've got 20 more of the green left to do. I'm almost there, y'all. I just have to edge them. Then I've got these, which is like my mystery guest thing. They're not quite done, and I still have some rounds to go where for you it makes it really obvious what they are. So you'll probably be seeing some shorts of these in the next few days, with one last chance for you to guess just what are my little mystery rounds. So I know it seems like I forgot about them. I haven't. Just be aware they're out there. Okay, this sweater is getting a little hot, so I'm going to take it off. But I did want to wear it to kind of show you. This is the one that had all the things wrong that I figured out what worked right. One day we'll get to that video. And then one of the other little things I'm making is, because it's in a very emotional time and they're dressing a lot of things, one of the things that I like to do is make these little granny square chickens. Now, they can be any size, but it depends on your fabric. I have some that are as big as this. In fact, Princess 2 has one that she calls Cardinal. She looked at it and called it Cardinal. So I joked that these are my chickens. This is Cardinal the chicken. But they're not quite where you can see they look like a chicken right at this second. But these are some very simple granny square chickens. And in the colors of the event this year. So there's that. That can go back in there. This can go back in here. This can go back in here. I have them all kind of in one box thing, and they're generously spilling over. Let's see. What else do I have? Okay. I've got a baby blanket I am working on for some friends of mine that just had their first little boy. They probably won't see this, I hope, but if you do, you'll just get to see just a glimpse. This is just a little bit of a start of it. And yeah, it's I chose a really fiddly pattern, and then I chose a very thin yarn, y'all. So it's going to be awesome the way it turns out, because it's almost going to be like a impressionist piece kind of thing when it's all said and done. But I'm building in the process right now, and it's very repetitive. And I'm telling you right now, this one's going to probably take longer than I ever expected it to. Hopefully not so long that the little boy is older and whatnot. I'm just going to grab the yarn. I'm not going to grab the actual full project out, but this is for my granny ripple crochet blanket that is based off of an Hooked by Robin pattern, or it's the Granny Ripple, but yeah, by Hooked by Robin. Sorry guys, names, they are a thing and they do cause me trouble right now. But she does this amazing pattern and I love the way it turned out. Go see my other video for all of the intimate details on that one. Let's see. This is one of the hats that I make of a certain character, or character that people love, for somebody in my world. And I'm making one right now. So there's that. These are another one. I just need to get my button gear and line these. Sew them up, line them up. I like making purses out of those same granny squares that I do my sweaters. And these are my patriotic ones. And so got some really, like I said, I always try to find interesting lining. This one is a 2001 lining, or Never Forget lining. But it's the granny square plus some extra rows. Do a little quick strap, put that on. The crocheting part is easy. It's always the linings that kill me. It's like that's where I slow down and might never do it. One of the linings looks like this, which is Land of the Free, Home of the Brave. Love this. But I always double line anything I do with those. So my outside fabric on that one is this nice blue color. On the other one is a nice solid red, but it just allows for for there not to be threads coming through, all of the things. Then I've got some wings and some antennae I need to put on this little thing. He's been made up for a hot minute, and even the wings do not take that long to make, but he's there. And then in the bottom of this, and I'm not going to get it out because it will go everywhere, but you can kind of see what I was working on the other day in the short, which is, okay, I'm going to give you at least a little piece of the advent calendar I'm working on creating, pattern I'm working on. So there's that. Again, I try to have everything in bags or baskets or both. One of the things I love about my Dollar Tree is you can find some amazing little baskets like this that look really cool, but they're really great for like holding your yarn, storing your yarn, and getting stuff together. Let's see. There's that. And then we have one more tote I have of projects. Yes, I know, totes of projects. So I hadn't realized I was in that much of a granny square phase until our lovely Teresa from Kurdish Crochet mentioned that I was all about the granny square. And then I looked at the projects I had up and that I was been working on. I'm like, oh gosh, yes, I have been working on a lot of granny squares projects. And one of them is this very nice retro granny square purse. Now the pattern I have called for this really big, it's going to be a big purse, but then there'll be a triangle here and a triangle here, or folded and granny square in half. We're almost there. It's supposed to be 10 rows, and I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, that's not right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, it's supposed to be 15, so there'll be a 14, one more of this, and then I think another purple is what I decided. I'll have to look at my idea in a minute to confirm that, but there's this, and again, it will need to be lined. I gotta do better with that. Then, what I originally got this cotton for was to make one of these apron patterns I found on Etsy. So there will be a gray apron, cotton apron coming out at some point that is a granny square base. Again, I did not realize I was that granny square focused this year until I started looking. Then one of my Dollar Tree finds. We all know Dollar Tree has done some really great things with yarn recently. And, well, I saw these two yarns and I just immediately, it popped into my head, a pattern that I had saved on my phone forever and a day. Now, if I put these two together, can you sort of guess where this is headed? I'll give you a few minutes. It's a famous character, y'all. It is, you guessed it, Winnie the Pooh. He is on his way. And so I love Winnie the Pooh. And so I'm excited to make it. And when you consider the yarn is $1.25 each, probably can make almost two out of one skein each. So you're talking about really good return on your money there. So working on that. I've also done a lot of Aunt McGree toys this year. Let's see. So this is a shawl that I have to figure out the pattern again because I had the pattern, lost the pattern, but trying to work on it again, and also trying to find the other. Oh, I had to find the other ball of yarn, which I did. It's down there, but all of this is just in this small little bag. May move it to a bigger bag now that I actually found the yarn that goes with it, but the second roll of yarn, we'll see. And I may have to find more of it before it's all said and done. Now this one kind of goes with this bag. So one of the things that I've really gotten into is I like making teacup pin cushions. Teacups, I like to call them my chai latte teacups. You can make them into hot chocolate. You can make them into hot chocolate teacups. You can make them into coffee teacups. Just change up what your top pattern yarn is and you're off to the races. And so I really do enjoy using that yarn. And this is just several different variations of it because I also make it really cute and kawaii kind of thing. And then here's some of my bee yarn. I have bee yarn every which way I turn, y'all. Every which way I turn. Next up, okay, I don't have this in a picture, and I'm not using this for what you think I might be using this for. I don't know about you, but my mom used to tell me and my brother this story about the warm fuzzies and the cold pricklies and about sharing. And there's several versions of the story. There's like an actual recorded version somewhere, but there's like hundreds of different variants of the story. And my mom's variant that she used to tell us when we were kids was just amazing. And so I'm actually having my mom write up her version of the warm fuzzies and cold pricklies story. And I am going to make some little pouches that kind of go along with the story. But part of the story is people stopped giving away their warm fuzzies to encourage people, and so they ended up hoarding them. And when they hoarded them, they turned into cold pricklies. And so this is a part of my cold prickly grouping that I'm going to be making, which I'm still working on because I actually want to combine it with another kind of scrubby yarn because I don't want it to feel good. And then I'm making some little bandanas out of some of this yarn that came with something I bought. A bigger one of the like yarn holders I bought, it came with this yarn, and so I'm making some bandanas out of that. And I think that's all my projects I'm currently working on, which is a lot to say everything. I mean, to go through everything and go through everything kind of quickly, that's a lot. But I'm excited. I'm having fun. I'm being creative for the first time in a couple years. Again, a part of my healing journey is getting creative again and actually creating and not just doing the same pattern over and over that I've been doing forever and a day. And so I've really enjoyed that process. And so my goal is to at least to finish some of the one, at least the very, what's in the tote right now, use up the yarn I have, and move forward in making some more projects. And thank you for coming along with my journey and seeing the things that I both want to make and things I hope to make going forward. And, you know, hopefully you'll be seeing some of this completed with me as we go. My goal is to do this about once a month of a check-in on my works in progress in general. I still want to do Fridays where I do finished Fridays and show you little clips of things I finished throughout the week. Like you see the big blankets sometimes, or maybe you see one of the purses, maybe you see one of the sweaters, maybe you see the gobs and gobs of coasters. Well, I've already given two of the three sets up. Oh, back to the coasters for a second. So part of that ministry is you make 30 of whatever you're making for them. Well, to make 30, I decided I was going to do what I normally do, because whenever I sell the packs, I usually do three together. So and I thought, oh, I'll do these three colors, kind of the color, again, some of the colors of the weekend. It'll be awesome. What didn't register in my brain is that if I'm doing three per pack and you have to make 30, that's 90 coasters. So I'm almost done with that. I'm down to 20, and then I have to weave in ends on green, and green is done. And then I can get back to the owls and the chickens, which I really need to get done, and our current blanket that I need to get done, for granny square blanket for our shut-ins. Other than that, you'll be seeing all of these projects at different times, and I hope you enjoy them and you get to see the different things as we go and you enjoy what you see. So buckle up, hang on for the ride, and we're going to have a great year. Bye.